this video, I'm going to teach you how to use functions in association with JavaScript objects. So in the last episode, I showed you how to create JavaScript objects and how to use key value pairs and things like that. When you're using functions and you're wanting to create objects that have functions plus variables, the setup's actually quite a bit different, and there's some new things you'll have to learn in it. So just pay attention and definitely try to code along with me so that you can learn it. The syntax is different when you're doing this. We're going to take the same type model we used before, where we have a car object we're creating, but this time we're going to have some functionality in it where you can actually update the car and create a new status on it. So kind of like you're building something for an insurance agency, and we're going to show you can update a status for a specific car. So like adding hail damage or something like that. So to start creating the object, we're going to type in function car, and then we're going to pass in what the different items that we want added into that car. So we're going to, and this is the object, we're going to enter in a make, a model, a year, a color, and then damage. And then we'll give curly brackets. And then this is going to be a little bit different for you, so try to take some time and understand it right. What we're going to use is a keyword. This is a reserved keyword. It's called this, and then whatever you want that variable to be. So we want this dot make, and we're going to set that equal to make. So if you've never seen the this notation before, it's very important. Pretty much every language out there, every programming language uses this, and what it always refers to is whatever is within that object. So when we say this, it literally means this make for this specific car that's being created. So if you create a car, like we're going to create a Toyota Camry. If you create a Toyota Camry and you give it a name and you do those kind of things, everything that you put into it will only be associated with that one specific version of the car. So it's a term that computer scientists use is instantiation with it. So when you instantiate that object, this keyword is referring only to that one. It doesn't come back and change the car model or car object itself. It's only affecting the object that you're working on. So you're going to go and do that for all of them. So we're going to do this dot model, and in this one, make sure you see, this dot model is equal to model. If you notice, I'm not putting commas the way we did last time. When we're creating objects with functions in them, you do semicolons like normal. So we're doing year is equal to year, and this dot color is equal to color, and this dot damage is equal to damage. Okay, so we've taken each one of our attributes here, each one of the inputs, and we've connected it to a attribute inside the object. So that's all we did right there. Now what we're going to do is set up our functions. So to set up a function, we do this dot, and what we're going to do is give the ability to set this damage function value. So we're going to do, it's called set damage equal to set damage. And now when you're doing this, a good practice when it comes to programming in any language is something called using setters and getters. And what that means is you, instead of actually altering these items one at a time, you actually use functions to change the value of these items. It's a best practice. You won't find one language that doesn't suggest you do that. So I'm going to show you how to use those setters and the getters. So with the setters and getters, they're just methods. A lot of people talk about them and make them sound more complicated than they are. All it is you create one method that sets one of these values, and then you create another one that returns it, and you call it get. It's very basic, but it's very good to know too. So for creating the function, we already did this dot set damage equal to set damage, and now we're going to say function set damage, and then give it a parameter. I'm just going to do a new status. You could call that anything you want because we're going to replace it. And then we do this dot damage equal to new status. Okay, now what this, and then another important thing, when you're done with functions inside a JavaScript object, you put a semicolon after that. That's very important. Your code will not run if you don't put that. So all we're doing here is this is set damage, which means that we're setting this last variable within the object. So this dot damage equals new status means when we call this function, we're going to give it this parameter, and then this parameter we're going to set equal, or we're going to set this damage equal to whatever that new parameter is. And so then we're going to do a get one, which is even more simple. So we do this get damage equal to get damage. No surprise there. And then do function get damage, and you don't have to give it any attributes because all we're doing is returning it. So then we return this dot damage. Okay, and then we end the object. So that is going to be our car object, and now what we're going to do is create a variable and store the object in that variable. So we're going to create one, and when you're creating variables to store objects, you don't have to do var. So we're going to create one. We'll say this is my car. We do Jordan Hudgens equals new car, and then we're going to set those parameters. Remember how we gave it a make, model, year, color, and damage? We're going to give it a make of Toyota, a model of Camry, a year of 2013, a color of white, and important thing on this, we're going to give it a damage of null. So we're essentially not going to give it anything for the damage, meaning that we're starting it out with no damage. And so now we're going to set up a prompt for getting what that damage is going to be. So we're going to just say get prompt, var get prompt equals prompt, and say what is the updated damage on the car. Okay, so that gets put into our get prompt variable, and now what we do is we call the function, and to call the function we call Jordan Hudgens because that's the name of the variable, and then we call the function itself, and we do set damage and equal, or I'm sorry, in set damage we're setting that equal to the value that got put into our get prompt variable, and from there we're just going to alert it out. So we're going to do alert and do Jordan Hudgens dot get damage. Okay, so if you see what I did right there, we did set damage for setting the value of damage, but when we want to know what it is, we do get damage. So, and whenever you're calling a function, make sure you put in the parentheses. So Jordan.Hudgens dot oh sorry, that would have caused an ugly error. It should be Jordan Hudgens dot get damage, and then do plus has been added to the car history. Okay, so this is a lot of stuff, so let's see if this works. Hit run. What is the updated damage on the car? We'll say hail. hit OK, and it did not work. So let's see what we did wrong here. Let's see. So we got this. We got the prompt, and we set all of these equal to the right values. And then we did get prompt, went in there. Let's see. I see what it is. It's just a stupid mistake. You see, Hudgens needs to be capitalized because that's what we set it to, is Jordan Hudgens camel case style. So let's see if that fixes it. Click run. What is the damage on the car? We're going to say hail again, hit OK, and there we go. Hail has been added to the car history. So just as a quick review on this, because I threw a lot at you all at one time, this is how you create a JavaScript object with functions inside the object. So you don't use the key value system the way we did last time. Here you're using the this notation, and you're creating your functions. You're using setters and getters. You're passing parameters in, and you're setting all of those equal to the this variable, to the local variable. And then when we're instantiating that object, we're adding all those values in right here. If you're wondering how this can actually be used in a real-life application, the way that you typically would do it is you would create functions like this. You would never store any real production type data in it. Everything would be very general so that you could reuse the code. And then you usually would get these kind of things from a database. So whether you're using MySQL or you're using some kind of NoSQL type of implementation, these values would be stored in a database, and then you gather user input through forms and through different things like that. For the sake of just teaching, I just put them in the object literal notation so you could be familiar with that. But this is how you use JavaScript objects and how you connect them to functions.